guys? Blackouts Survival Late Night Live, Friday night live. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. Typically we cover, current event topics during our late night lives, but tonight we're going to talk about disaster planning, and that could be, or just any worst case scenario planning. I think all of us, it's good to have a refresher. It's good to talk about these things. Obviously, with the current economic climate, the way the world is, you never know what's going to happen. And we've seen over the past decade a lot of various different disasters. I mean, we just saw Maui, whether that's direct energy weapon or not. But we've seen things, Katrina, you've seen all these things, home invasions, the whole gamut, possible World War III, whatever it is. It's good to have planning, and it's good to, just have something in place. I'm going to bring in Eric from Nutrient Survival, my good friend over there. He's going to co-host with me tonight. And, I told him before we got on here that I'm a vampire. And so I'm thankful that he's up this late at night, so. Eric, thanks so much for having or being here. Sorry.
Right on. Well, I'm a West Coaster, so you're up 3 hours or later than me.
Yeah.
I'm still just a couple in.
It's still early for me, man. Yeah.
Right on.
Anyway,
your tribe's out there looking forward to this. So thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
They're on here. Good to see the tribe as well. So Eric is the CEO of Nutrient Survival. Former Army Ranger. We will not hold that against him, but he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
All right, Joe.
He's a great guy and has a lot of knowledge. You know what I mean? Obviously, he runs a disaster food company, and we just partnered together. I don't know if you guys saw the video earlier today, but if you're not, I would definitely encourage you to go check it out. We launched a new product with them for this month. And you better get it before it gets sold out. That's what I'm going to say. It's moving quite fast. And like I said in the video earlier, and I've told Eric this a lot, I was a customer of theirs before I ever met them. And, to my opinion, Nutrient Survival is the best food. They actually care about making food that is nutritious, whether, a lot of companies, they just make calories. And, if you're into fitness, if you're into caring about your health, this is a serious thing. We get, pollutants in everything we have eaten. And Eric, has a food background, so he's very well aware of that stuff.
That's right. No, thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. I'm surprised you want to talk about food. I thought we were talking about FJB.
Yeah, that's what we need to talk about. I mean, I talk about that almost every day. So
I know.
We can throw it in there. We can.
Maybe we sneak a couple in. Because it's just easy, right?
Yeah.
It's easy. No, thanks for having me. Seriously. No, I appreciate you. You were first a customer, and now you're a partner, and your partnership has meant the world to us. Having guys like you, Jack, that are on the tip of the spear, saying, "Hey, this is what I use. It's because I use it." A lot of stuff is empty calories. And the problem is a lot of companies, and this isn't a pitch or anything like that, but just, for your tribe, here's the deal. A lot of companies say calories equals energy equals survival. The problem is if you don't have nutrition, you will die. If that's all you have is calories, empty calories, you will die. So think about your nutrition. You're a guy, man, I've seen the transformation of the pre-post. It's amazing. It's amazing. And nutrition has played a major role in that. So I appreciate you, being you and helping us get the word out about the importance of nutrition in a survival situation.
So I'm glad you kind of said that, because you just kind of made me spark a thought. But, just in my own transformation, because this is the thing I've worked out for 20 years, and there's been times, probably 15 or 16 years ago, I ate very clean and I was, very shredded. And I thought I got tired of it because I did it for like 2 years, and I got tired of it, eating basically chicken, broccoli, and rice every meal. And I started eating regular food, and I thought I can out-train my diet. I was running 5 miles a day, or 3 to 5 miles, not 5 miles every day, 3 to 5 miles a day, and lifting weights. So I was doing 2 workouts a day, and you can't and I was starting from a point where I was shredded. Like, I had the abs on the side here,
Love it,
And
man.
it got to the point though that I could not out train it. You can't out train a bad diet. It doesn't matter how much you
Right.
run, how much weight you lift. You can't out train a bad diet. One of the golden era bodybuilders, a guy named Mike Metzner. He's dead now, but I really like his work. But one thing he spoke about is that he talks about calories, and he said you could eat sugar all day, but are you going to be healthy from it? Like, so I could eat less than maintenance. Let's say 2,000 calories is maintenance. I could eat less than
Right.
that,
Right.
but and if I just eat sugar, let's say I eat just Oreos all day, I'm not going to be healthy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people
Classic
say
definition.
calories in, calories out. It's not true. It's
Right.
macronutrients is the thing, and that's what you guys are king at is the macronutrients.
That's it. That's right. Well, yeah, sugar is the classic definition of empty calories.
Yes.
It's energy, it's calories, but if that's all you're focused on, it's completely worthless. There is no nutrition in sugar.
And that's why a lot of football teams, I don't know if you're well aware of this, but a lot of football teams are moving away from Gatorade because what they've noticed is that the players will drink the Gatorade and they try to dilute it, but it still doesn't really help. But the players would drink the Gatorade and get that energy spike, but then they crash.
Right.
And so that's why you see a poor second half. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I mean, it's a true thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about preparedness planning.
Yeah, sure.
You've got a lifetime in this stuff as well. Got a lot of knowledge. So I want to kind of go through some points here. One, talk about planning in general. Planning is you're a military guy. Planning is everything.
That's right.
And when you're talking about something, I think I'm sure you probably use the same process in the military as well, but using somewhat like a brainstorming session and do this with your family instead of your troops, but you brainstorm and get them involved and help them understand the seriousness of the situation, get them to buy into it. Because I always hear people say, well, I can't get my wife to buy into it. Well, have you really explained to her what happens, giving her some evidence, Katrina, and
Right.
these various other incidents, home invasion,
Yeah.
and laying this out where this is something that is a reality that can happen, and what steps do we need to take to avoid death, maybe reduce economic damage, whatever it may be. I mean, obviously, living is is the
Yeah.
plan, but
Right.
so planning is big, right?
Right.
And everything. I mean, everyday life, even.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think the awareness piece is probably the first important element of a desire to prepare, an awakening, an enlightenment, so to speak. And for many of the folks that we serve, there has been a eventuality that has impacted their life. And they say, never again, never again. Whether it's a natural disaster or whether it's a blackout or whether it is a home invasion, what have you. They resolve to never again will I be subject to things that I can't control. And that's what it is. So you've got car insurance, you got home insurance, you've got life insurance. You need to have food insurance. You need to have other insurance around you because these things happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It really
Yes.
is. Whatever it happens to be. I mean, look at Hurricane Lee. Just drove up the coast of the East Coast, and the folks in Maine never thought like, hey, this thing is not going to impact us. We never get hit by hurricanes, but of course, here they are and worrying about Lee. So that's one. I think the most likely events that will impact us are natural disaster and honestly blackouts probably, right?
Yeah.
And when you're without electricity, it is not
And
fun.
it's very much dependent on obviously where you live at. You're not going to worry about a tsunami in Idaho, right?
Right.
I'm friends or was friends with a guy named Tyson Beckford. I'm sure many of you know him. He was a former Ralph Lauren model, but he's very much into the tactical thing. Well, a few years ago, he and I would talk quite a bit. But a hurricane hit. He lives in Miami, and a hurricane hit, and he was like sending me videos that he could not get out of his apartment because he lived in a very expensive high-rise apartment.
Right.
But it got flooded to the point he could not get out. You know what I mean? And he had gotten some gear from me and stuff, and he was like, thank God,
Yeah.
I got this stuff that you
Yeah.
recommended because I couldn't get out. I was
Right.
stuck. So, obviously it's going to be dependent upon your environment. I'm going to deal much more with hurricanes, whereas someone in California may deal with, earthquakes. And
Yeah, or earthquakes and hurricanes at the same time, like they just had
yeah,
in LA,
or a
right?
hurricane in a firestorm. I mean,
Right, right. I, th-
Maui.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think the reality is, the likelihood of a prolonged event is low,
Yeah,
but there is a high likelihood at a point in time you will be impacted by something that will disrupt your normal day to day. And let's face it, I think, for me, I worry about a little bit of, sure, natural disaster. We get heavy snow out here, so the power goes out, right? What are you going to do? Okay,
yeah,
you need to have some preps in place. But the other piece that I think is more of a kind of a threat situation is, for me, the reality of a blackout. We are so dependent on power, and I've got a couple electric cars. I'll admit it, and I've also got a gas guzzler. That is my insurance plan. But without the grid, we are stranded. We're going to lose our communications. We're going to lose our ability to store food for a period of time. We're going to lose our ability for whatever entertainment. We're going to lose our ability to function at all hours of the day, and that's a problem. So first off, before you even think about, I mean, you need food, yes, but you need to think about what is it going to take to keep you sustained towards a normal routine through a
yeah,
period where it's disrupted. And so power generation, that's an important aspect. And I think that's the most critical issue for us, whether
yeah.
it's, whether it's a
It's the
domestic.
modern conveniences, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of our society has, we have such, we're so docile and we're so soft because of modern conveniences.
Mhm.
And honestly, like I had this talk with myself quite a bit, and I hope the rest of you do too. So I'm not just a weirdo, but like I'll notice like when I'm starting to get soft. You know what I mean? And I do things to make my life hell. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And to make
Mhm.
make sure that I remain tough
Right.
because it's easy. It's easy to become soft. You can go to a refrigerator and get your food. You can,
That's
go
right.
to a
That's right.
it's just we live in a society that makes us soft. And I don't know if that's by design or just
Yep.
consumerism. I don't know.
Yep. Well,
Uh,
the military is actually, they're part of their, the National Defense Authorization Act is doing routine blackout exercises now. That's built
okay.
into the Authorization Act. So if you want the money from Congress, you're going to conduct a number of blackout exercises where the entire facility goes down. So, that's usually uh, the first kind of like, maybe that's interesting. If the
Yeah.
military is starting to think about, all right, we're going to shut down the entire post, we're going to shut down the entire base, and we're going to
Like
see if we can
EMT.
function. Yeah, we're going to see if we can function for 8 hours. Okay, and here's the problem with that: they announce it, everyone's aware of it,
Yeah.
and so everyone's like, okay, hey, we're going to have a blackout for 8 hours or 16 hours or whatever it happens to be. But the problem is that's not the situation. When this
Yeah.
thing happens, it's going to
You
happen.
won't be ready. That's right.
You won't be ready. So what are you going to do to get ready, right? Because other folks won't be ready. So maintain a low profile, a low signature. You don't want to attract attention. You don't want people to know you've got the preps. You don't want people to
You
know that
don't
you're
wanna
running a
be
generator.
on YouTube, you know?
Right.
I'm the martyr, but,
You are the martyr, and that's why we love you.
the other big thing I think a lot of people don't think about is if you got family, wife, kids, and what if you become separated? How do you link back up? Have you considered that? What if you have kids at college that's far away from
Right.
you? What if your wife's out of town on work? She flew somewhere. If you have to leave, maybe you need a rally point,
Mhm.
and in the military, we have things called rally points. Whenever you're on patrol, you
Yeah,
know we meet back up here if all hell breaks loose.
that's it.
Or you get separated. This is where we meet back up at. So maybe you make a pre-positioned rally point. And so maybe dad's at work, shit hits the fan, dad can't come home. We
Right.
meet dad with the pre-planned list of items at the rally point, and we get up with him. You know what I mean? And also with that, that's something you want to determine the best evacuation routes. I mean, especially like you say, you had electric vehicles. I mean, this is something you also have to put into your planning as well with your evacuation routes. Maybe I need to recharge at this area. Maybe I can't recharge. Maybe I have to take my gas guzzler, but I think that's some things that a lot of people don't think about. You're not the perfect scenario, like you just said, when they cut off at the base for 8 hours. That's the perfect scenario. What if you don't know?
You don't
How
know?
does family members know how to operate? We have a plan in place.
Yeah. I think that exercise is completely worthless. I mean,
Yeah.
what good is it for you to announce that, hey, we're gonna, we're gonna shut the lights off for 8, 16 hours, whatever it happens to be. And okay, so make sure that you've got your perishables in an area that can sustain that. I mean, that's completely worthless. That's not how it's going to happen. We had these Chinese balloons floating over us, and it would have been very easy to pop an EMP and take out a major part of the country. No doubt, right? And we have ICBMs that are ready to do that. And then not only that, but there's natural events like CME, corneal mass ejections. We are due for a Carrington event. It is predictable. And so are we going to be lucky and be the side of the planet that does or does not face the sun when this thing happens? When that happens, back in the old days, when that thing happened in the 1850s, there wasn't anything close to what we have from an electronics dependence like we have today. They had some telegraphs, and there were a couple of burnt out telegraphs, and they quickly got them back into service. Okay, that thing happens today, we're out of business. I'm convinced we're going to be out of business.
Yeah, I mean, because everything is, dependent upon it. Our food processors, to get gas, you name it. I mean, we don't have the CBDC yet, the digital currency, but we're almost there. There's places don't take cash.
Yeah.
So what do you do in these type of scenarios? And that's why having a plan in place. And again, I think a lot of people with their family members, there's I know we have a lot of women that is the preparedness head of their household, because I see them in the comments. They're like, my husband won't get on board, or the guys like, my wife won't get on, my kids won't get on board. Some kids follow me and say, my parents won't get on board. So I think, explaining, and a lot of people want to get like, oh, you're a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, maybe. But the problem is that we can look over the past 10 years, which isn't a long time. And I mean, we can look over the course of the entire Earth's existence, but just in the past 10 years, all these things that affect a lot of people, and when we were talking about family and why that's such a big thing, I think everybody in their family needs to know, have a role or job. So everybody needs a responsibility. It's just like in the military, when you get your people to buy in, hey man, this is your responsibility. This is yours. When you give someone a job, they take it a little bit more serious when they are accountable for something. And I discussed this in the Watchmen film. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but if not, I would encourage you to see it. It's our home security, home defense film. And I talk about that. Like, every family member needs to have something, to do. So maybe the older sister gets all the kids together, takes them to the safe room. Maybe, mom makes the 911 call. Maybe there's a fire. Everyone knows how to use a fire extinguisher. You buy one, go test it. Because the event, it doesn't matter what the event is, what the catalyst is to the shit hitting the fan for you, whether it's a home invasion, fire, hurricane, apocalypse, it doesn't matter. All of them needs the same preparation. Maybe medical. Does anybody know how to do CPR? You can go get free CPR classes and first aid classes with the Red Cross. Everyone in the family should be training, or at least one or two people. So that way they have that training in case something does happen. Maybe shutting off utilities. Does everyone needs to know how to shut off utilities? Maybe mom and dad are gone. Big sister needs to know how to shut off the utilities, not so the house doesn't blow up.
100%. Do you know where the water is? Do you know where the water main is? Do you know where the gas main is? Those are important, very simple things, but many people just don't know, and they don't take the time to say, hey, if something happens, turn this knob, on the off position, because that can save your house. That can save your lives, very likely.
And we're talking about economic damage, like in the beginning of the video I was talking about. It's not always the zombie apocalypse. Sometimes it's just to reduce the economic damage. You got flooding in the house, and you'll be shocked, man. I'm when I see somebody broke down on the side of the road, I always stop and ask. I'm from the country, so that's what we do. And that's the odd thing.
God bless you.
People don't do that anymore,
Yeah.
But excuse me, there's been multiple times that I've changed a grown man's tire because he doesn't know how to do it.
Unbelievable.
And that's the time we live in.
Do you make him do push-ups while you're changing it?
I did do 50 push-ups while I'm doing
No,
this.
no. He needs to do push-ups while you're
That's
changing
what I'm
his
saying.
tire.
Yeah, that's what I tell him. I said, "Well, I'm doing the tire. You're doing push-ups, buddy. We're both working."
That's it. Excellent. No, I mean, and it's here, the reality is it's like the military, Jack, right? Where you can train, and here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. Here's the approach. Here's what we do when we hit contact. But the reality is, as soon as you start, the plan changes.
Yes.
And I think that's the reality of any eventuality. It's not going to be out of the playbook. It's not going to be, nice and easy. 1, 2, 3. Here's what we do. So I think the lesson is be prepared. Be thinking about these things. At least do the mental exercise, because you may not know how it unfolds, but at least you may have the fundamentals in place. Okay. And your family may have the fundamentals in place. Like you said, assign some rules, assign folks and some things that they can do and feel like, hey, I know if this happens, my job is to do this. Or the rally point, a very important one. I have a 14-year-old daughter. We've been on walks. We've been out in the Sierra Nevada. And I say to her, like, look, if anything happens, I will meet you here. Okay. Yes. I will meet you right here by Tree Rock. And I have a name for it, right? It makes it kind of fun. Tree Rock. I'll meet you at Tree Rock. And here's what you need to bring, and I'll meet you here. You stay here and you hide. If anything happens that's unusual, you stay here. I will come. If I don't come, you go here. But I will come. I will be here for you.
And you're talking about a PACE plan at that point, because you're talking about a emergency or contingency plan. If I don't come, then this happens. So this is a great point. Like, you break it down to the PACE, primary, alternate, contingency, emergency.
Right.
And practice the plans. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it has to be, in the middle of the night, hey, freaking, we're doing the apocalypse drill.
She's 14.
Yeah. This helps reduce stress, right? Because, in the military, we do things 1,000 times. So that way in combat, you can do it without thinking it. And so practicing it gives you that muscle memory. Okay, I'm comfortable doing this.
Exactly. Yep.
And
that's
so, like you said, having alternate plans. If I don't make it back here, then we do this, because you don't want when the disasters happen. Hey, we're meeting this rally point. Oh, Dad ain't here. All right. Well, if Dad ain't here by 5 p.m., we go ahead to this place. He'll find a way to get there.
That's it. I mean, Jack, I think there's 3 things, and this is something I know you believe, right? There's 3 things to this whole equation. There's the mindset, there's the skill set, and there's the tool set.
Yeah.
The tool set, everyone's focused on getting the tool set. I want this, I want that, I want the gadget, I want, the fire start, whatever. And we have a cool fire starter in your kit, by the way, right? Your go bag, which is awesome. I love it. Your fire cache. What a great tool. But people are so focused on having the gear that they forget about the mindset and the skill set. The mindset is the foundation, right? And all that is rehearsal. It's talking through it. It's what do you do? And it's quizzing, and it's testing, and it's running through things. It's just talking about it, honestly. And are you going to be mentally tough to endure a situation that is unexpected? The skill set is all about the stuff you do. You teach people how to survive, right? Not just bushcraft stuff, but evasion, escape, concealment, right? Those are important things. And then the tool set is, sure, you got the fancy gear, fine. Okay. And you got to be able to live off the land and scavenge and do what you need to survive. But if you don't have the mindset, I went to Ranger school, toughest school in the world, and so many guys washed out, not because they weren't physically able or didn't have the skills to make it through, but because they were weak mentally.
Yeah.
They were weak mentally, and they said, no mas, I'm out. I can't handle this. And I think that is the first piece of it. You've got to have mindset. You've got to think about rehearsals. You've got to put yourself through situations that are tough, right? Yes. Even what you do, not even, but what you do to push yourself to do the next rep, to do the next pull-up, to do the next push-up, to push through, if you're a runner, to push through the next half mile, whatever it is, that is building the mental toughness to endure a situation. And that's a physical thing, but the same thing applies to, to
Yeah, it plays
other
into mental as well, I believe. Yeah.
100%, 100%. So that's what I would ask, your community, your tribe to think about. Do you have the mindset first? Do you have the skill set? And if you don't, there's lots of resources starting with you. And then, yeah, the tool set, fine. Get the gear, fine, great. But you got to have the first two.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, as far as being able to walk out in the woods with a knife. Yeah, I mean, the more the less you have to carry. You know, and I used to fish competitively in the bass circuit back in the day, and I was fishing with this guy one time, and he had very old equipment. He was a young guy, he was younger than me, but he had very old equipment, and this guy won the tournament. And I mean, he was an amazing fisher. And he told me that his equipment was his dad's from the 70s, like even the lures. I mean, down to the lures, and so equipment doesn't matter. He had the skill set. This guy, so like you said, it's one of the most important things. Sharpening that skill set. You can carry less. You can do more.
Right.
But again, mindset. And I think one way. People always say, "Well, how do I develop mindset?" I think push yourself physically, making yourself miserable and becoming comfortable with it. Because
That's
when
right.
you become comfortable with misery, you can almost, it's a stress inoculation essentially.
That
And
is. Yep.
overcome stress, and overcoming stress, you can be sharper and smooth, slow as smooth as fast, and all those sort of things. So I think just putting your body and pushing for that extra rep, for that extra mile. These are things that help you build that
Mm-hmm.
mental toughness.
That's right. That's right. And I would also add on to that. This is I used to say, like, I don't have to practice being miserable to be miserable, to
Yeah.
be good at being miserable. But you kind of do. There's actually a whole study about this. It's I want to say it's called ketosis or something like that nature, where you subject yourself to mental, physical challenges, and it does make you tougher. There's science behind this. I think the challenge is this. Look, I don't expect my wife, I don't expect my kids to be tough
Yeah.
as me. And that's where being a leader has a lot to do with it, right? When they look at you, dad, or they look at you, right? You need to be strong. You need to be tough. You can't be the weakling that withers under the stress.
Can't whine.
Right. So man up, right? And I think this is becoming just such a foreign concept to our society in general. What does it mean to man up? I mean, if you can't do it on your phone, you don't have an app for that. It's like, oh, okay, I give up. Like, come on, man.
And what's very disheartening to me, and I've been talking about this for weeks now, is just even with conservative guys that are supposed to be on the same side, they're whiny, they're complaining.
Yeah.
I think it's just part of yeah, and I'm not saying in bulk. So if you're out there watching, you're like, hold on, dude. There's some guys in the conservative realm that are whiny, complaining. They're I mean, they act very feminine. They get very emotional about things, and it's I think it's just an epidemic of the society. The softness of men, and that's what happens. I mean, and we've seen that throughout history.
Right.
Civilizations have fell from it. I think we're on that way because there's less and less men that want to be men. There's men that want to be upset because others are doing better than they're outworking them is what they're doing.
Right.
They're entitled. They believe, they call themselves conservatives, but they really are socialists. You know what I mean? They believe in socialist practices. So they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to be hard. They want to complain. But like you said, when you're in your leader of your family, and same thing in the military, you don't complain in front of your troops. You know what I mean? That's not something you need to do. You have to be an example. You have to show them that you're tough. It makes them tough. You know what I mean? During my time in the Marine Corps, I just I always think back to like just how tough the guys acted, and it made me tough as well. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I can't be the pussy here. You know, and I think there's a lack of that in our society.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I mean, there were so many things I've been through, be it West Point, Ranger School, you name it, where I could have given up. And one of the reasons I didn't give up is because I had the guy to the left and to the right of me.
Yeah.
And those are my brothers, and they kept me going. And I knew that if I failed them.
Yes.
And sometimes that's motivation enough. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when dad is with mom and kids. Okay, is dad going to be able to step up, or is he going to start crying in the corner?
Yeah.
But don't do that to your family. Okay.
Yeah.
Man up. And there, the problem with our society in general is that being a man is a bad thing these days.
It is.
It can't be.
Disney demonizes it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Disney. I mean, well, they're getting their due. Don't worry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited because it does feel like we're starting to turn the tide, Jack. Don't you agree? It seems like we're starting to turn the tide and waking people up to no mas. We're not putting up with this. This. I'm going to protect and defend and keep America, strong the way it ought to be, the way it used to be.
I was black pilled, I'd say probably 3 or 4 months ago. I was like, man, it's over. I said, it's just a matter of time. But lately I've seen a lot of young men. I'm talking, 16 to 20 years old. I frequent Chipotle because if you work out, you eat at Chipotle. You know what I mean? It's like the thing.
I love Chipotle.
I saw some kids the other weekend there, and they looked like they were probably 18, 19, muscled up guy. They just came from the gym. They were in gym clothes, and they had on Trump shirts, which is, I mean, Trump wearing a Trump shirt is like, you're putting a target. Like
Kiss of death. Are you kidding
me?
me?
They look like masculine guys, guys that like when I was in high school, this is what kids look like. They're in there. They're just got no one to work out. And I'm like, there is hope. There is hope.
Right.
The generation in between us is probably screwed, but at least we have some, and I think a lot of young men, what I'm seeing online, like they're tired of being told that, they need to adhere to these pronouns. They need to be feminine. They're not having it, and so I'm getting a better feeling about the future now.
That's it. No, and it is absolutely up to us. 9/11 was this past week, right? And I wrote about this in my newsletter to our Wolfpack community. My daughter, she was at a public school, and they failed to completely acknowledge 9/11. Just didn't even acknowledge that it even happened. And so she, God bless her, had the courage to say, hey, what happened to the moment of silence? Are we not doing a moment of silence? And the teacher said, go talk to the principal. I mean, she completely punted. And so my daughter, right, she says, okay, well, I'll go talk to the principal. And she goes and talks to the principal, and the principal is like, well, great. Yeah. You know what? We need to take that into consideration. Maybe next year. Like maybe next year? Are you kidding me?
And that is a testament to you being a man, because you instilled that in her. And if we all do that, if we all do what you're doing to your daughter, instilling these, these belief systems into her, we can change the course.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about being vocal. A lot of people say, what do we do? What do we do? Be vocal. Be vocal. Let people know where you stand. Quit hiding in the corner and keeping your beliefs silent because you're scared somebody what they're going to think about. I've lost I've lost tons of business deals. I developed a TV show that I developed, like it was my idea, with a production company, and it was going to be pitched. It was pitched to a major network, and I was going to be the guy. Totally in the shitter because of after 2020, I started letting loose. And I took it on the head. It's just what happened. It's not going to happen for me now, and it's one of those things, like I had to make a choice. Do I bend the knee, or do I stand up for what I believe in? And a lot of people call you a shield because you're on YouTube or what have you. Right. But, it's one of those things where I've lost a lot because of my beliefs, and I'll still do it. I'll lose everything for them. I'll lose everything, and I think if we all have that mentality, we can change the course.
That's right. Well, if anybody's calling you a shill, they're a complete fool, because if anybody's putting it out there and telling the truth, it's Jack Richland, Black Scout Survival.
Appreciate it.
I mean, I see some of the stuff you say, you profess, you believe, you're unafraid, and you're a great example to so many people. So don't stop that. And I know I'm sure it is causing you harm. Maybe not, physical harm, but it's causing you probably future harm. I say with myself, I say, this is the last job I probably will ever have. Not because I'm not talented and have a great future, but because I put it out there, and I'm done kowtowing. Like you said, bending the knee. I'm done with that. I believe what I believe, and I'm sorry. It's time to put an end to pretending the craziness isn't out there. The insanity isn't out there. I'm done with it. And if it costs me, I'm sorry. I'm in a position maybe where I can allow myself to do this, where I don't have to bend to the winds of political correctness. I'm going to say what I believe. And just like you, God bless you. We need more example like that.
Yeah, I think we all have to take that stand, to change the course, man.
That's right.
I think I mean, the times are getting too dark. Like I said, man, I was black pilled, and that's something. And I told my tribe whenever this was going on, and I just said, man, it's black pilled. It's over. Like stack your mags and just wait for the shooting to start. You know what I mean? That's kind of like where I was. You know what I mean? But luckily, I saw people, and that's one thing I always tell the tribe, like, talk to me, because you guys motivate me. A lot of people say I motivate them. You guys motivate me as much as you say I motivate you. And so that's one of those things. Like, I got to feel like I'm not out here on an island together. I'm sure you feel the same way. You know how you just said this could be the last job you ever have. And a lot of people don't understand that. When you speak out on such a big platform, people know who you are. And the internet lasts forever. So
it does.
If they want to go look and see, okay,
that's right.
Well, Eric, you said this. I'm sorry, we can't hire you.
Right. Exactly.
You in the West Point. I mean, you should be able to write your own check. But this would potentially, I mean, you speaking your mind can hurt you the rest of your life, because most of the companies in America are woke, to some degree, or they don't, or they're not woke, but they don't want to even have that in their house, because
exactly. Well, that not to go political or anything, but that's why the deep state hates Trump. Because he does not care.
Yes. He can't be bought.
He can't be bought. Right. So, and hey, a lot of people love Trump. A lot of people hate Trump. A lot of people are neutral in Trump, whatever. But it does seem like kind of a love-hate thing. But if there's one thing, he certainly loves America. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He does what he says he's going to do. No doubt about that. Right. Yes, very polarizing. I wish he didn't say some of the things he said. I wish he wasn't as mean as people, make him out to be. But, anyway, so we'll see what happens.
The biggest thing I think a lot of people don't see is that he doesn't have to do it. If I was in his position, would I even fool with it? No.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I probably would, because, but I'm saying most people wouldn't. Because you're rich, you don't have to deal with this. Like, just walk away.
I mean, he's absolutely an egomaniac. We know that, and that's fine, right? But he doesn't need the job. He does not need it.
Yeah, sometimes you need that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need the a-hole in a certain job. Like, everyone has a specific place. And when we're talking about the deep state, maybe this is what we need. Because and people say the deep state's a conspiracy theory. No, it's there. Look at what the DOJ.
100%.
Look what they've been doing.
The DOJ. Well, and today, even, there was the restraining order against the Department of Justice and all these other Fed agencies, and the Supreme Court, Alito, he stayed that for a period so that he can properly review it and have a Supreme Court ruling on whether or not the government can influence the media. I mean, really? Okay. So I'm very anxious, because Alito, if you recall, he's a Bush appointee. And here we are talking about First Amendment. There is no doubt about it. There is an incredible, intense pressure on social media. To present a position
You're
is not
afraid.
fair and balanced.
You're afraid, especially if you're living off of it. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
afraid to post something because it could be your last post. You know, I've seen
Right.
there's a
Look at you.
girl.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I'm waiting,
yeah, I'm just
God
waiting to
bless
be
you.
next. I'm just waiting next.
You've spent how many years building your community?
Yeah,
You
10
have
years. Yeah,
630, 50, 100, 650,000 subscribers.
yeah,
And by the push of a button, Jack, sorry,
yeah. You
they
say
could
one
make you
thing.
go
Yeah,
poof.
yeah. There's a girl that started YouTube about the same time as me. She's still on YouTube, but Survival Lily, and she and I are pretty good friends. But she got booted off of Instagram this week. Yeah,
Oh, no.
I mean, for nothing. So you never know when's your day. You know what I mean? And that's the
Mhm.
chance you have to take. Every video post, every post you post on Facebook or Instagram, it
Yeah.
could be your last.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't see that inherent risk, especially whenever you take a lot of time. So a lot of people get upset because you're making money off of these platforms. But the thing is, they don't understand the amount of work that it takes. You know, I mean, anyone
Yeah.
can do it. It just takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of work for a lot of years that you don't make anything.
Right.
You know, so that's the thing. You like to work for free because that's
Yeah.
the way it's going to
Yeah.
be for a long time.
Yeah.
But by the time you're successful, people kind of get upset about that. But
Well,
it's a long road.
I encourage anybody, Jack. I'm like, if you want to take this on, go for it because
Yeah,
it is a lot of work. Look,
I've
we
seen
built
so
our
many people try and fail.
no,
I've had friends, I've had people that started about the same time as me that I became friends with. They don't make it because they just can't take the workload. It's a
no
lot of
way.
work. You know what I
It's a
mean?
ton. The energy that you put into what you do, your production, your research. Yeah, I mean, I challenge anybody to do that. I have a full-time job here running Nutrient Survival, and I'm like, okay, let's do a video or two a week,
Yep.
and I burn probably, I don't know, 5-6 hours doing videos. I don't want to do that. I want to build my business. I don't want to put together a newsreel. Okay,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yes,
And
it's a lot of work, and I mean, and that's with anything in life. I mean, you're
yeah,
not going to make money for a long time usually
that's
when you
it.
start up anything. It takes work, but a lot of people, like we kind of talked about earlier, new society, they don't want to put in work. They want instant gratification. I think everybody, because of cell phones, they can Google search something, and within a tap of a few
Hmm.
keystrokes, they can have any information in the world. But the thing is, it's also like working out. All of these things take dedication and discipline to do. And I think
Well,
Americans, in by and large, lack that. Hence, why kids get out of college these days wanting to become an instant CEO. That's not how it works. That's not how it
tell me
works.
about it. I mean, the old universal truth. Nothing worth anything ever comes easy.
That's right.
Nothing worth anything ever comes easy. If it comes easy, it's not worth anything. And if you expect it to come easy, it's not worth anything.
Yeah.
And so it is, you are an American entrepreneur. And it's awesome. It's awesome because you've built a brand around Black Scout, Jack Richland. People trust you. People know you. You are who you are. You're a man of your word. And I mean, that's the American dream, and it's awesome. But
Yeah.
I
That's the
challenge
thing.
anybody because I've been doing the YouTube thing here, and I'm telling you, like I get like 50 cents for a video.
Yeah. It's funny because like whenever I got into YouTube, I was like, man, I should have got in 5 years earlier. Like I
Yeah,
thought I was too late. You know what I mean? But I don't think there's ever a too late because I see
no,
people jump in all the time and do very well, do
that's
better
it.
than I do.
That's
You know
it.
what I mean? I think, but yeah, I encourage anyone. If
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
want to do something, you have to do it. You're not going to make money for a long time. It's going to be a lot of work. And I did a video about this years ago, but me and my wife used to fight all the time about the amount of time I spent building Black Scout. Me and my partner, I mean, we were always working on this for nothing, didn't make anything. Like I was spending money that I didn't have. And so, that's the thing. A lot of people don't see that part. They only see the part when you're successful.
Right.
And, but that goes with anything in
Right.
life. I know we got way off
Well,
the rails. We can get back onto the
no, I
prepared.
mean, you think about it, right? So again, another great axiom: best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The next best time is today.
Yeah.
So what
I
are you
like
going to do?
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah, get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I encourage everybody to do something to become
Right,
independent
right.
in some way,
Yep. Well, this is National Preparedness Month, It is. And,
Yep.
we're not crazy, because even the government's behind this
Yeah.
idea that people need to be aware, people need to be prepared, especially as hurricane season rolls up and down the East Coast. I've lived through many hurricane seasons. I lived on the East Coast for probably about 20 years. So I've been through my fair share of hurricanes.
Yeah.
And beyond that, the rest of the United States is subject to other things, be it tornadoes, be it blackouts, be it forest fires. Out west, I'm in northern Nevada. Thank God. Usually it's spring, summer, fire season, winter. Okay. Fire season meaning the whole area is just completely engulfed in smoke. It's miserable, but we've had so much snow. It's been wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful. So we haven't had any fire seasons for the past 2 years. So it's been great. But I mean, that's the basics of it. And you don't think it's going to happen to you until it does. It's not about yesterday. It's about it's always about tomorrow. And are you going to be in a position to get through tomorrow? And that's what I admire about, you helped us with this collaboration, your bag, the Go bag. You did the video this morning. It was great. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your partnership. And it's not only is it a great deal, but I keep a Go bag in the back of my car, and everybody needs to have a Go bag.
Right?
What's that?
You have a video on that, right? I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it.
Yeah. I did put a video together. I've got all kinds of great gear. In fact, the other day I was out driving and there was a dog that was on the loose, and I'm like, hold on, I've got some 550 cord in the back of my car. I pulled over, popped the trunk, grabbed the 550 cord, grabbed the dog, put a makeshift leash on the animal, and was able to get him off the road and not obliterated by the oncoming traffic. And I felt pretty good about that. Right. So, yeah, I mean, you never know what it's going to be, but if you think about the essentials, having something in the back of the vehicle, it's just good common sense, just good planning.
I mean, that's the thing about this kit too, is that it's a great size, and how we put the individual packs together. I really like, because that way you're not opening up a big bag for one meal. Because I travel quite a bit, so I'm on the road, and I eat out of my SUV a lot, and maybe we're out filming at a location, and so I got food there. I don't like to eat junk. I don't eat fast food, so that way I have something I know that's healthy, that's not going to hurt the gains, and
Right.
I can eat it. And again, so the fact is, they're in these individual packs. I don't have a pack. I have to open up the entire thing.
Right.
I can open up an individual one. So if you're on the road, you're traveling, this is another consideration. What about vacationing? A lot of people don't think about, when I'm on vacation, something bad happening. So you can take this, and have gear, throw extra gear in there, and have that. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It can feed the family, sustain the family. And you can't determine when bad things are going to happen. It could be when you're on vacation. It could be when you're on the road. Maybe you're on work. I'm in the truck on a filming location, and hey man, things have went south. I've got food, I got this, and I got that. Being in a dry bag, obviously, huge benefit, especially around water. Protected.
Yeah, and it's all together too. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing about it. You don't really have to think about it. So if you need something that you can just depend on, and not have to think about it, even if you don't know all the components, if you get into a situation, pop the trunk, you've got the Go bag, open it up, you're going to be delighted. You'll be like, wow, I've got this, I got that. I'm good to go. Just a couple of years ago, we had Virginia, out in Virginia on I-95 shut down because of the ice storms, and we had folks overnight, like a day and a half without water, without subsistence. And that wasn't fun for them. If they had just been a tiny bit smarter.
Yeah, my father, man, down in Atlanta a few years ago, he lives in Atlanta, and he does preparedness because of me, but he went out to go get some to-go breakfast, like he'd place an order at this diner. Went there he went to came back into his truck in the parking lot, goes to leave, and they've closed all the roads because of snow, ice, for 24 hours. So he had to stay there in that parking lot, but he had, gear because of me. He had like one of the, hunting suits. I always keep those in the truck for cold weather.
Yeah.
Like the thermal zip up suit. So the coveralls, he's had those. He had food, water. Luckily, he had that because there was a lady that had 3 kids that were with her stuck there. So my dad took care, had food and water. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be the zombie apocalypse. It can be you just went out to go get breakfast and you're stuck somewhere.
Right.
But
yeah, chances are it's not going to be the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's going to be something else. And you've got a really cool opportunity right now because, Jack, you've got a Black Scout Survival discount code BSS 20, and this isn't a pitch, it's not a shill, but whatever. Honestly, I just want people to have the opportunity to buy in. Honestly, this is the deepest we've ever been. So BSS 20 gets you 20% off anything. And then if you really want to get on things, Jack put together with our marketing team, with our team here, this brand new, we've never had a 20-liter go bag.
This is the first 20-liter go bag they've had.
It's the first one, and it's loaded with stuff. And not only that, but it's also got Jack's Black Scout Fire Cache Ferris rod, as well as an exclusive Black Scout patch, which I've got on my hat here. It's hook and latch. It works great on my Condor, and I love it. Thank you. There it is. You got it. And you get all that, right? And then apply the 20% because you get the bag free, you get the Ferris rod free, you get the patch free, and you get 20% off. I don't think there's a better deal out there. And if you don't want that, you can get 20% off anything else. So, again, I appreciate Jack having me here. I appreciate him being a great partner. If you don't take advantage of it, no problem. If you do, thank you. Now's a really good time.
Yeah. And this is the thing when we're talking about, emergencies, we're talking about shelter in place. We're talking about on the go. This is go bag, put in your vehicle, and you want to obviously have food, water. There's your food. Throw some water purification tablets in there. You've got a ferro rod to make fire. Obviously security, have a weapon. Security is always the forefront for me. Whenever I talk about anything coming from a military mindset, security is it. Like you got to keep the bad guys from killing you. Like before we worry about food and water, we got to worry about bad guys hurting
security.
us.
Man, it's the first thing in the military, security.
Yeah. So
very first thing. Security.
One thing, like you said in the beginning, is that, and I forget to even talk about this myself, but Black Scout Survival is not just about, survival bushcraft stuff. It's about everything.
Urban.
Tactics, urban, home defense, escape and evasion, everything, because I want to survive everything. Okay. I don't, you can be the best bushcrafter in the world and then you get shot in the parking garage. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to be able to do everything. But so back to it, water. And this bag's 20 liter. That's the big deal. They made happen for us is they made a bigger bag so you can stuff more things in there.
Right.
You may want to put medications in there. If you have critical life medications, you have diabetes, whatever it may be, you want to have those medications in there. You may want to put some space blankets to create a microclimate. Maybe in your car, you make a microclimate in there. You put some candles in there. You can heat up a small space, and survive in very cold conditions like that. Illumination, flashlights, batteries. You may want to put
headlamp.
Cash. You may, cash because maybe the electrical grid's down, maybe blackout. You need to be able to pay for something and your card doesn't work. You don't have the chip in your hand yet. So
yeah. Jack, you can always sell your body. People would be willing to give you all kinds of good stuff for that.
Yeah. Give them a dance or something like that. Yeah. You may want to think about your babies, your pets.
Yeah.
Basic tools. Maybe throw a Leatherman in here. I mean, that's the thing. There's enough space to put all this stuff in there. A water bottle, canteen, hygiene gear, all that stuff. Some toilet paper because you need that. But maybe an NOA radio. So you have enough room to put all that stuff in there. And that's the reason why we, made this kit. Again, this is the biggest kit they made. And I'm thankful they did that for us because and they gave us a 20% discount, which I think is the biggest discount you guys have gave, to thank the tribe. But a lot of it, to do with, when you're looking at a preparedness plan and not just being single-minded that I'm only focused on this. You want to look at the big picture. Maybe you want to throw an extra magazine in there for your EDC carry pistol.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. It's easy to do, and people typically, create a list like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, but they don't get to it. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it now, because you don't know if it's going to happen tonight. You don't know if it's going to a week from now. And so are you going to be the guy, right? Don't be the guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Good.
You got to be the hero of the story. I mean, that's
That's
the
it.
way it is.
That's it. No, I mean, especially with your family, your family is going to be like, hey, Dad, what's Dad doing?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? You're going to be follow me. Let's do it. Let's go. This is what you need to do. So anyway, but I love what you do, Jack. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks to your tribe for putting up with me. And gosh, I just don't know what we'd do without you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for collaborating with me on the kit. A lot of people will not work just because of my political views with me. So I definitely appreciate you guys. And you heard him. I mean, you heard the man. He's one of us. So, and that's why I love supporting companies like this. I don't work with many people because most people are undercover leftists and they don't tell you, you know what I mean? But, and I found that out the hard way. If you ever notice I've worked with some companies and I don't work with them anymore, it's because they're leftists. And we wind up having a little battle behind the scenes. I'm not going to put them out there, but if I don't work with them anymore, that probably is why. But these guys are good guys. Eric, obviously, patriot, served his country, even those are the Rangers. We'll forgive him for that. But he's a West Point graduate.
You're a funny guy.
And we call him Sir because he is a West Point graduate. So
that's right.
Eric, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you for, obviously being a partner with me and hanging out with me tonight, man. And sharing
every time. Every time. Got your back. Got your six, Jack.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Eric. You take care. Thanks, Tribe. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you go hit the link. I'll put the link as a pinned comment. Use BSS 20 for the entire catalog of products they have. So this is the time to stock up. If you want to go buy a bunch and just really, get a good discount, it's the time to do that. You'll get the ferro rod if you buy my kit right now while supplies last, and get a patch, I think, for BSS 20 across the board. So anyhow, guys, thanks so much for your support, and stay frosty, stay strapped. And what are you supposed to do, Eric?
Stay dangerous.
Take care.